So let's move to Unreal. This is Brown Sauce. I am currently working on replacing the Mabinogi engine. I wrote this because I wanted to tell Militians about background modeling among the work I did. I hope this article will be of some help to those who are curious about the engine replacement process. For nearly 20 years, Mabinogi has taken deep roots in Pleon. Therefore, it was obvious that the moving task was not as easy as transplanting a young tree. Of course, ultimately, most of the buildings and objects you can see in Unreal Engine will be newly built to be pretty and colorful, but for that work, you need a rough sketch. Because creating numerous new sketches is a huge cost itself, we had to find a way to replicate Aaron from Pleon and use it as a sketch at a lower cost. The first thing I was worried about when planning to transfer Mabinogi as is the question, can Pleon's specific world data files and modeling be used directly in Unreal Engine? And sadly, of course, that wasn't possible because it was Pleon only. In this situation, 3 ideas came to mind. The first idea was to modify the Unreal Engine code to read Pleon-specific files. However, if you modify the engine code like this every time you upgrade the engine version, there's a possibility that your modified code will conflict with the updated code. Then you must continue to fix the conflicting code. And because the cost of work is higher compared to other ideas, I didn't think it was the best way to create a rough sketch. The second idea was to modify the Pleon-specific files so that Unreal Engine could read them, but there's a problem with this method too. When creating objects in Mabinogi, modeling work is done using commercial programs. Afterwards, we convert it using a program we developed ourselves so that the Pleon engine can read it. Unnecessary data is deleted and some necessary data is calculated in advance for optimization. However, among the data erased at this time, there were values needed by Unreal Engine. Although it is possible to construct a 3D model with the remaining data, except for the removed data, this method was not the best, as it was noticeably different from the original. This file was modified so that Unreal Engine could read it, but the goddess statue looks angular due to the lack of smoothing. The third idea was to move the original modeling data into Unreal Engine before converting it into a dedicated file. Unreal Engine can easily and simply read files created with commercial 3D modeling programs. Therefore, as long as you have the original before conversion, I thought I could upload it to the Unreal in a form similar to Pleon. The first attempt to upload raw data to the Unreal was successful. The original data was output from a commercial 3D modeling model as a file that Unreal could read. When I imported this to Unreal, it looked much better than I imagined. However, this method was not perfect either. This is because traces of Pleon still remained. When working with a 3D model of a Mabinogi object, in addition to configuring the object's shape, data for interaction within the game is also added. However, this data was not needed in the sketch. Rather, the shape of the sketch looked different due to this data, so I had to find a way to erase this unnecessary and disruptive data. To transfer the original modeling data to Unreal, read a file in a 3D modeling program, and then it must be output as a file that Unreal can read. The problem is that even though this process is short and simple, the number of files is too large. The problem is that it takes too much time for a person to do all these files one by one. Considering the physical time, automation was essential. The 3D modeling program used by Mabinogi has a script language that supports automation. If the user scripts the tasks or actions he or she wants to do with the modeling program in advance, you can repeat that task over and over with the click of a button. Use this script to do the printing work that had to be done for each file one by one, while automating the program to do the work for you. I also deleted unnecessary data from the sketch that I was concerned about earlier. Also, the texture of the original modeling data must be converted into pixel format so it can be read by Unreal Engine. This processing was also programmed to be done in the script. In order to use the transferred 3D model as a sketch, you must place it in Aaron, created with Unreal. However, Unreal Engine cannot read Pleon's specific world data files, so I had to check the location, direction, and size in Pleon one by one. There were a lot more pieces and more work involved than the previous work, and because it had to be processed using Unreal Engine, I couldn't even write a script for a 3D modeling program. While I was thinking about it, I thought of an idea. If it is possible to extract object type, location, direction, and size from a dedicated world data file, couldn't we use it for placement in Unreal? When constructing Pleon's Aaron world, Mabinogi uses its own world creation program. 3D model data created with a commercial program is imported into the world creation program and placed. Afterwards, the batch status is finally converted into a world data file. The self-developed program was familiar to me, and the inside data file was. So I was able to modify the program to extract the data needed for deployment from the world data file. Now all that's left is to have Unreal Engine read the extracted data and automatically place the 3D model. This issue was addressed by adding a feature to the engine. Because the automatic placement function was implemented with functions that already exist in Unreal Engine, it was relatively less expensive than an engine modification, and the risk of code conflicts was low. Dumbarton transferred to Unreal Engine to use as a sketch. Through these processes, my work on automating sketch production was completed. Currently, background modelers are working hard to create a new Aaron based on the sketch. My eyes are purified as I look at Aaron being reborn in high quality. Although my work does not create a finished product, I feel great joy and pride because I am helping Aaron in her process of rebirth. There's a lot of work ahead before Mabinogi can fully move to Unreal. There are many technical problems that need to be solved. It may not be an easy road, but for the day, we invite all Militians to the new Mabinogi. We will move forward steadily and diligently. Okay, so we're going to be taking a look at another one of the posts on the Korean Mabinogi Eternity project site. So I would like to talk about texture production during the process of remodeling Turconail, where Militians will live. If you change the engine to Unreal, the background graphics will have to get better. Wouldn't it be possible to make it respond to real-time light by adding normal, roughness, and specular so that the characteristics of each material stand out? I'll make all the backgrounds you've wanted to make for a while. The will to create a truly fantastic background was sparked. However, our Mabinogi isn't like this. I worked too hard on sculpting using graphics tools, but it didn't have the hardwood feel that Mabi has. When I strengthened the normal, realizing low polygons with the three-dimensional effect of high polygons, the clear feeling typical of Mabi did not appear. However, I gathered my courage and went back to the beginning and thought about what elements determine the characteristics of Mabinogi's background. Mabinogi is a cartoon graphic. The flat feel of the environment setting creates a unique 2D feel, and the diffuse texture has strong contrast to bring out the sense of mass. The sense of shape and proportion of the background had a simpler and more casual feel than the realistic proportions. On the other hand, the texture was closer to real life than expected. In these cases, Mabinogi's background identity was being added. So here's a good example of like the wooden textures being showed well. And then Avalon clearly shows like stone texture. This was it. More than anything, I realized that texture plays a big role. The unique, clean, and organized feeling comes from the texture. So, I tried creating the texture right away. First, create a shape. To what extent should sculpting using graphics tools be done? In sculpting shaping using graphic tools, I decided to neatly process large chunks and edges and only add large cracks to the wood texture. Work efficiency is also important, so the wood grain feel was created using alpha in the tool. So here you can see, like, this is the door to Duncan's house, and this is like the window. We've all seen the preview of his house in Unreal Engine. Second, create a diffuse base color of the object texture. In the past, texture creation was created by combining photo textures with Photoshop or drawing them directly. Nowadays, several tools such as ZBrush and Substance are used. Looking at the Mabinogi texture, we could see that it was close to real life and had a high density. It has a semi-realistic feel that has been processed through photo texture synthesis or stylized texture with high detail. Since it was produced 20 years ago, it had a strong feel of a photo composite hand mat. To reflect these aspects, using the production tool, we used the wood grain texture as a base and built it up one by one. Use the sharpen filter sharpening effect to express highlights and depicted parts more clearly. In particular, care must be taken when creating high polygons to clearly express highlights and shading at the edges. And this looks pretty cool. You can like see how in this picture like the wood is like changing. That looks really cool. And here you can see the front of Duncan's house again. This was it. Although the road was difficult, I was very proud that I had laid the foundation for transferring Mabinogi's style to the new engine. Yeah, it's very important Mabinogi has the same style, and this guy did really good work on this. Like, this isn't easy to do. So on the left we have existing resources, so the resources from Pleon Engine, and on the right we have the Unreal Engine resources. So this is the church in Pleon Engine and the bank in Pleon Engine, and this is the church in Unreal Engine and the bank in Unreal Engine. Making the tiles was also difficult. The tiles also used a texture that was close to real life and had a high density. Think of it as a semi-realistic texture with a processed feel through compositing from a photo texture or a stylized texture with high detail. I tested it out in two ways. Processed through Substance Designer texture creation tool for soil and grass, you can see it here, and photo plus PRB, so physically based rendering, resource synthesis for the soil and grass, so you can see like the two differences between these pictures. How to create a Substance Designer from a stylized feel to a more realistic depiction. Advantage: as work resources accumulate, you can quickly work with tiles with a different feel by reorganizing and recycling nodes. Disadvantage: it takes time to express photo-like details. And photo texture and PRB resource plus Substance Designer and Sampler equals composite. The work speed is fast. Disadvantages is it requires reliance on photo resources, so expressions are limited. So here's another cool picture of Turconail Town Square. This is kind of cool because now we have a closer look at the actual town square area that a lot of us have spent a lot of time being AFK in. So I like the wood that they decided to add here. That wasn't here before. It used to just be all stone. It looks like they added like wood right here and like the four corners. I think that's to make it feel a little bit more like a bench. And you can also see like the brick right there. That looks cool. And you can see some brick over there too. Overall, I think they did a really good job with this. This looks like Town Square. It feels good. We can see everything appearing. We can see all the trees appearing, all the buildings and fences, the water, the dock for fishing. Let's go right to here. This is our first real look at like Turconail as a whole. The only thing we really can't see is Fergus's shop. So there's the healer's house way over there. That's going to be the graveyard. I would love to see some close-ups of what the graveyard is going to look like. Looking back, a lot of things happened. There's still a lot to do, but the style has been established. This is how the background graphics of Mabinogi Eternity are being produced. So this was an interesting post to read. I'm definitely glad that they're interested in capturing Mabinogi's style and making it feel like the same game. Okay, so today we're going to be looking at the Mabinogi Eternity section on the Korean website. And today we're going to be looking at For Silky Militian Hair. So, hello, this is Developer K. I would like to talk about the process of applying physics-based animation to bring life to the hair of Militians. In the beginning, there was a skeleton, so this is a skeleton of a Militian. The screenshot above is of the skeleton omitted for illustration purposes. In the actual game, more skeletons are used for various movements. Traditional animation techniques for creating character movement include: there's a basic skeleton for the character, and the key animation which moves the skeleton in XYZ direction and adds a key to each frame is common. For example, let's consider the motion called walking. Since the legs must move back and forth, the thigh, calf, foot, and toe bones must be moved each frame to set the height, left foot, right foot, respectively. Of course, let's move the arms naturally too. Let's set the height by moving the upper arm, forearm, and hand skeletons each frame. For natural movement, the body also needs to be in rhythm. So pelvis, spine, neck, etc. Walking was used as an example, but in Mabinogi, all character movements are performed in the same manner as above. It is a key animation method that holds the key by moving the position of the skeleton for each frame. The motions of various skills, the motions of actions, etc., all movements. When the above skeleton moves, the attached modeling should also move along with it, right? The work done to achieve this is called rigging and skinning. Connect each vortex of modeling to the skeleton rigging and set the skeleton by giving weights that will be affected by its movement skinning. This allows the attached modeling skin to stretch or shrink when the skeleton moves. Since the basic skeleton of the character is shared, even if the modeling is changed, if the skinning is done properly, the animation operates normally. So hair animation, let's take an example of a ponytail. It is said that animation must be added to the ponytail hair with all key animation data created based on the basic skeleton described above. First, we need to add a skeleton for the ponytail for movement to the basic skeleton. So here you can see the picture for an example. Now all you have to do is add a key for the movement of the additional skeleton for the ponytail to the animations you previously created for character movement. In all character animations, 13,586, the key of the skeleton added for the ponytail must be adjusted step by step. So here's all the steps. As the hair bones continue to be added to the base bone, rigging and skinning problems also arise. So separation of the hair skeleton. Before something like the above becomes difficult just by imagining it, let's separate the hair skeleton from the basic skeleton. Leave the existing basic skeleton and animation data as is and create a separate skeleton for the hair. Let's use the ponytail as an example again. Let's create a separate hair skeleton like this and create a separate animation for the ponytail that will run simultaneously with the existing animation. At this time, when the walking animation of the basic skeleton is executed, the walking animation of the ponytail skeleton is also executed at the same time. The animation operates separately on the two skeletons, but the result looks like one movement. Of course, for this it is necessary to adjust the frame length of both animations and keep adjusting them based on the basic skeleton animation so that the hair does not stick out too much. Separating the skeleton only solves problems in the rigging and skinning process compared to adding a hair skeleton to the basic skeleton. The process for creating a key animation corresponding to all existing animations is the same. Currently, in the case of moving wigs and hair Mabinogi, the skeleton is separated for each hair mesh and a key animation is created and applied in response to the motion applied to the existing basic skeleton. Physics-based animation. What is physics animation? It has physical properties such as mass, inertia, damping, and elasticity. This refers to animation that is simulated to produce results similar to everyday physical phenomena. In short, if you set various conditions, movement is automatically created according to the physical phenomena. If you just listen to the exclamation, there is no need to specify the position for the skeleton for each frame like in the existing key animation. It sounds like a technology that naturally and automatically simulates the position of the skeleton. In reality, there are many things to consider in order to express natural movement. Let's use the ponytail as an example again. Even in motion, in place, in motion that moves and runs, or in motion with high acceleration, the simulation should come out not moving as if it's bouncing too much, right? In small movements, there is little response to external factors, so it is difficult to express the ponytail's movements in detail. On the other hand, with large movements, acceleration or collisions can make the simulation unstable, causing the movement to appear inaccurate. To respond to these problems, adjust the parameters of the physics simulation, or adjustments to the magnitude and direction of the motion are required. Nevertheless, there are cases where it is not possible to satisfy both extreme situations of small motion and large motion. Initial physics-based animation test appearance, so that's this here. So 1, no physical animation, and 2, small physical animation movement, and 3, large physical animation movement. So you can see here how the hair isn't moving at all when the character moves, and you can see here how it's moving a little bit when the character moves, and in 3 you can see how the hair is moving a lot when the character moves. For the flowing Militian hair, the key animation and physics-based animation introduced above are all research and development processes for the flowing Militian hair. In addition, there are various contents such as combination of key animation and physics-based animation, retargeting system, etc. We will cover related content in the next costume animation, the 4-pointed skirt action. Okay, we will cover related content in the next costume animation. The 4-pointed skirt is actually. As the journey of the Mabinogi Eternity project continues, Militian's hair will become even more luscious. Okay, so this is good. So they are working on hair movement in this part of the update. Alright, let's play some Mabinogi. So, let's see what we're gonna do today. We're just gonna do some dailies and stuff. I wonder when the new Arcana are gonna get here. Probably like early December. Let's get rid of some trash that we don't need. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. Or that. Let's move this whistle over here. Got 8 days left on these rebirth potions. I'll save them for now. Like, these will be a lot more valuable to me when I have the new Arcana to level. Where are we at with the Idia exploration, the Idia expedition thing? Like, I already got the Compass second title thing, but like, have I gotten all the points this week? No, I still have a few more to get. So the last thing I have to do is just get the 20,000 points on this and get that pet, and then after that we're done with this event for good. So I think we're going to start out with this event, we're going to finish it up and get the remaining points that I need, and then that'll be it for this event. Then we won't have to do it anymore. A lot of coins, but we're gonna need a lot more than that. Let's get that. Some food. That one's worth some points. Okay, this artifact that we got from the ghost will expire in like 2 or 3 minutes. Doesn't last long. Oh, 4 minutes. A little bit longer than I thought. How much time do we have on that? Over a minute? Usually these enemies don't attack, but today they're being a little bit more aggressive. Wait, if I go... Okay, good, we're still in range. Alright, we're gonna go to that Commerce Simp and retreat. Before those temporary artifacts expire. And we'll take our coins back. And that. That way we can use those on the next expedition. I think I need to do at least one more. Yeah, we need like 3,000 more points. So this will probably be the last expedition I have to do. Okay, at least one more time. Alright, and there's the pet whistle, so that's everything from this event. There's no longer any real value for me to do it again, except for these really big survival quests, earn 10,000, 20,000, or 30,000 points in a single run, but I'm not interested in those, so... What's this Grandmaster thing? Complete a Grandmaster mission and talk to Lazaro. What was I working on for Grandmaster stuff anyway? Put this over here for now. I thought I was working on like puppetry or something. Maybe I finished that one. And we're gonna work on Ninja for Dan tests, I think. Yeah, today we're gonna focus on Kunai Storm. Let's go ahead and do a rebirth though, I'm pretty sure I can. Alright, let's go find out what the veteran dungeon is. So we have Field Dungeon today, and then let's go... Let's go get the normal daily dungeon too. Gotta get some adventure seals. Hey, a shop. A 50k die shop. Don't see too many of those anymore. So today's daily dungeon is Coil. Sure, we can do that. Let's go back to the Dungeon Stone guy, and I guess I'll waste money on a Coil Intermediate Pass. Because Coil Abyss, unfortunately, doesn't count for clearing that. So intermediate coil 48k. Okay, let's see if I end up with more than 170k gold when I finish. I probably will, but still, it's kind of annoying having to pay gold for my passes now. Let's just shove this right here. And let's go ahead and get my staff and scythe. So we'll do Coil Dungeon first. I've been thinking about, like, making a video about how the new dungeon system is and everything that's wrong with it. And, like, my thoughts on how it could be better, so I might do a rant about that. Maybe I'll do that in a week or two. Because I don't like it. Okay, let's move this down here. And let's get doll bag out. Okay, so that's done. And I ended up with about 200k. So yeah, even though I had to buy that pass, I still ended up making all the gold back and about 30k in profit. Which isn't too bad, I guess. Alright, let's do the Fiat dungeon next, the veteran one. And we're going to use Battle Astrologer and Dark Diviner for this one. And boss time. So I think we just have like a golem and some flying swords. And I did not want to attack the golem with that. Oh, and he's still after me anyway. Okay, let's hold him in place like that. Okay, polar vortex again. Let's go ahead and switch to magic. Then we'll keep him down with thunder while Thunderblight does the work. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. There. And 25 minutes and 28 seconds. What kind of shadow missions do we have today? Sniper War, that one's good. And Provocation. Yeah, let's just go jump right into Sniper War, I like that one. But if I'm going to do that, I'm going to do it on Elite, so let's get an Elite Pass. How long do I have to use these? 4 days? I'll wait a little while longer before using those then. So real quick, let's try and draw an Elite Pass. So random items. There we go. That's what I needed. Magnet all that together. And let's go ahead and toss a lot of this stuff that I don't need. So Sniper War on Elite, and we'll use one of those. And where's my Shadow Crystal thing at? I have those Belting Crystal things. Those are good for almost a month, though. I can probably save those until the Arcana come out. There you are. Daily Shadow Crystal, we'll use that. I've never actually used any of the shielding spells here. I don't know if like any other player has, but like I've never bothered blocking their attacks. In fact, now that it's much harder to be knocked down in the game, you don't even really need the shields. Like you need them less than before. not like the damage is anything to worry about. Taking out these guys on the side first, because I think once I kill the boss, like, these guys will just disappear. Oh, Lord All Pass. Yeah, sure, I'll take that. Come to think of it, isn't there like one of those event missions, like clear Lord All mission? Yeah. Let's do the one with the turtles, because I think I need that transformation anyway. So that would be the Secret of the Xanafiedlion Caverns. Gotta talk to this guy first. Thunder should be mostly enough to deal with these guys. Not sure how many turtles are in here, though. Looks like thunder is enough to clear most of this. Does magic hurt these ghosts? Let's find out. No it doesn't. Well, ignore them for now. They don't matter. Let's wait for a little bit so we can use Meteor. That'll do physical damage, which will get rid of these ghosts. Oh, there we go. Done. Demonic ore fragment. Some spirit gems, a normal gem. What's this demonic ore fragment good for? Let's see where it went. Yeah, no idea. We'll worry about that later. Okay, let's go clear Provocation, the next shadow mission. Oh, this mission. Okay. This mission's easy, it's just kind of boring. Also, Thunderblight is kind of useless here since it attacks the wall so much. Okay, we're done with that mission. So that's the 2 daily shadow missions done. I need to start an herb garden with this character like I have on my other characters eventually. In fact, I've been kind of lazy about most homestead work, to be honest. Haven't really done a whole lot on that with Xanafiedlion. Maybe I should check in on my homestead, see how it's doing. Let's see. Oh, I don't have any homestead stone. That's not good. I have not been working on this at all. So 13 homestead stone. Go and put this back up here. What kind of homestead seeds do I have? I don't really have strawberry seeds. Or wait a minute. I don't have strawberry seeds or that. I do have tomato seeds. Okay, I guess we're gonna plant some tomatoes then. Since that's what I have seeds for. Oh, I guess I don't have any more homestead stone. Alright, that's good enough for now. Wait, do I have 200 monster transformations? I don't even know if I do. Yeah, okay. So we need to go see Shamala. We'll get like 10 HP if we do that. Alright, so that's done. We get a achievement for our journal, having 200 monster transformations, and yeah, we also get 10 HP. Alright, let's go ahead and do Dan tests next. So we're gonna go to the advancement hall. And I actually need to go check on something really quick, so after we get to the advancement hall, I will be right back for like, probably 5 minutes. Alright, well really quick, I'll be right back and then we'll do these Dan tests. Alright, and we are back. Let's go ahead and do those Dan tests. So we're gonna do the Kunai Storm Dan test. So, Ninja. Kunai Storm, Dan 1. Let's go and reorganize this a little bit. I like to keep Kunai Storm on 4. I think Ninja is the only, like, one of the few Dan tests where you can't actually use Crisis Escape. But you got Shadow Cloak, so it's all fine. Alright, so Dan 1. Oh yeah, and we need to get like 100 XP, okay. So to get XP on Kunai Storm, we have to hit 5 or more enemies at once. This isn't about defeating enemies, this is about using the skill and landing critical hits and like attacking enemies in a group. So this is something that zombies are really going to be able to help us out with. Which is why we're going to turn on Og. They're going to make great training dummies. And let's go ahead and equip our shuriken here. Hey look, and there's around 5 zombies here. All in a group, we just have to get them a little bit closer together. Yeah, these guys will work just fine. Oh, whoops, wrong skill set. My bad. Let's try that. Oops. Good, we're getting that countdown, the one for getting 5 or more at once. That's the tricky one. Come on, stay closer together. They don't want to stay in a group. Attack that one. There. Gotta target the right zombie so they all get caught in it. There. And we have 100 XP now, so we can go ahead and do that Dan test. Let's go and finish him off. Get a little gold out of it. Oh, the Ancient's still alive. Then we'll be coming back here again for when we need to get 100 XP at Dan 2. Turnanog has such a cool look to it. Like, I'm excited to see what this will look like in Unreal as well. I love coming back here. Impressive that Turconail has a lot of, like, doors that can, like, fit giants. Like the doors to the bank and, like, the doors to the church. I'm a little too tall for these doors, though. What about the inn? I think the inn has some pretty tall doors too. Yeah, not too bad. Alright, let's get back to E-main. Time for the next stand test. So Ninja, Kunai Storm, Dan 2. And again, I want to move where Kunai Storm is. Go and equip those right there. I think we need 9,000 points. There. So Kunai Storm on 4. Let's go and put like Windmill on 7 or something. That way we can keep those slimes off us a little bit easier. And let's go again. Let's get a little distance here. And I want to put these on 5. And when that wears off, perfect. Yeah, windmills helping keep them off a lot more. I'm just hoping that won't really... taking the time to do that won't really affect... like we won't run out of time for the mission. I don't think it's going to be an issue. Okay, let's get in there. Like, we still have a lot of time left. Yeah, this has gone way better. Perfect. Still had like over 2.5 minutes left. And there's Dan too. And then let's go back to Ternannog to get it ready for Dan 3, and we can do the first Dan 3 test today. And then we can do the second Dan 3 test tomorrow. Hopefully Ninja will be next step for an Arcana. That'd be kind of cool. I'm kind of curious what kind of Ninja Arcana they could come up with. Maybe something like combining Ninja and Battle Alchemy. Then we could use like some sort of lightning-powered shuriken charge, or like use alchemy and like ninja skills to poison the enemies. Here's a good group. So 5 or more enemies at once. Let's try. We can get them a little bit closer together. Come on, get moving. We're getting like 4 of them. Okay, that should have been 5. I don't know if these zombies can push me down anymore. Probably not. Maybe if they use Smash or something. And our training here is done. Any more ancients? Diamond. And some gold. Use this coupon, and we'll do the first stand 3 test for Kunai Storm. And we're all set. Having windmill there was pretty helpful last time. So we need to get 12,000 points, which shouldn't be a problem. Do that real quick, and then put those potions just in case I need them. And that's the first stand test. Can't do any more until tomorrow. Okay, I'll need to buy like one more stamp tomorrow, because I've missed like a day or two. Let's go do some tech missions. I've been meaning to do that more, I've just been kind of lazy about it. So for tech missions, we'll use Dark Diviner and Battle Astrologer. Try this one. Yeah, this is the one I was thinking of. Oh, this is the one where we have to stop the, Oh, okay, that was easy. They made tech missions too easy. There is nothing wrong with the way tech missions were before. I think they should change them back. Okay, so we're looking for the salamander, right? Or not? Okay. Have Pam pick up some gold. Oh, boss time already. Done. What was he attacking? Okay, we'll just do this mission a little bit. Last time again. Meteor took out most of his health in one shot. Done. How many of those things do I have left? 5? Try out this one. Yeah, I've done this mission like once. Okay, so we have to look for the crystal that's glowing pink and then hit it. Okay, which one's next? Oh, there's one more of those things over there. My bad, I didn't see that. I didn't see that back there. Okay, then we hit this. Moving to the next zone, then we take things out over here. Like, this is the only tech mission that even feels remotely challenging, and even this is pretty easy. Like, Thunderblight is doing most of the work. And then there's the big Kraken himself. So we'll just... And done. Let's do one more run. One or two more runs. I'll do the Awakened Abyssal Lord one again. Because that one was the most challenging. Okay, so we get this one first. I only failed this mission one time, and that was like the first time I did it. Because I didn't quite like understand the crystal thing. Until like halfway through the mission. But after that, it's pretty easy. So now we just have to go over there and destroy those 3 crystals. wonder if I can just avoid using potions if I just use Mana Shield. That should reduce the damage enough. Maybe I'd be better off using some magic, that way I could use some thunder while I'm using Thunderblight. Yeah, that's nice. Not even important to dodge that. Okay, let's skin with Polar Vortex and Meteor. A little bit of Thunderblight, and we're already done. Using Mana Shield was a good choice. Okay, we'll go in one more time. What's this? Yeah, we can do something with that later. And let's use Mana Shield again. Convenient that they changed the name of the turtle to Enraged Turtle. They did that specifically so these turtles won't count as like count for points for the turtle transformation in your transformation journal. That's the reason for doing that. Okay, we're gonna have to hit that crystal next. And these crystals over here. this area. And boss time. Okay, for this boss, we're just going to use Time Shift and use Meteor twice. Done. Spirit gems. Well, let's go again. Why not? Let's use up the last two of those crystals. Boss time already. Okay, this time we won't use Meteor, but the next run, the last one we will. So for here, Polar Vortex will work just fine. Done. And I should have one of those crystals left, so let's use this up. So Polar Vortex, and then Meteor. And done. Let's try 3. I'm not trying to... Here, let's, okay, well. Level 76. Alright, well I think we'll wrap things up right around here for today. And tomorrow we'll do pretty much the same thing. We're going to do some Dan tests, do some dailies, stuff like that. Maybe do some commerce tomorrow. Or some Stardust stuff.